Hello, hello, everybody. Today, I'm so excited to meet with Helena, who is a member of our signature program. Helena is 7 months postpartum after giving birth to her first son, and she accepted to share her journey in the program with you today. So, thank you so much, Helena, for meeting with me.
Absolute pleasure. I'm really happy to talk to you about my experience, Sophie.
Amazing. So, yeah, let's start with what made you decide to join the program in the first place? What were your
Mhm.
goals?
Yeah, sure. Um, so in terms of my goals, I felt like I wanted to be well prepared for pregnancy, giving birth, postpartum, my first child, and I am 39, so I kind of felt like I have no idea what to expect and where to even start in terms of preparation. So I was like, I really want to be well prepared on the various levels. One thing I did was doing hypnobirthing class, doing some kind of preparation classes. Um, but I really wanted something that's really preparing me kind of physically for my birth, and also that's providing some support postpartum. I'm a clinician myself. I'm a clinical psychologist, so we were actually colleagues. We knew each other through some of the work we're both doing. So because I've known of you and your program well before I was pregnant, it was always kind of at the back of my mind. If and when I get pregnant, Sophie, someone want to chat to about getting ready for birth, and I also knew quite a bit about your program before that, knowing how you work and what's involved in that, as well as the testimonials and people having an amazing experience in the program. So I think all of those things kind of put me in a place of, one, really trusting you, really trusting the way you work, really trusting your clinical experience, and feeling really confident in that. And I think that the program really met my goals around preparation, support in terms of getting ready for birth, and having support postpartum, and having that ongoing support as well, that lifetime access to the program. So it really hit all the tick all the boxes that I felt I wanted to have in place for getting ready for my birth.
Great. And how was your experience in the program?
My experience in your program has been really, really fantastic for lots of different reasons, but one that really stands out is the evidence base, and really trusting you as a clinician and coming to your program, hearing, digesting the information, and not having to go and check, is that really kind of based in evidence? Is that the right information? Um, you would kind of expect that. I'm a clinician. I also have an online program, so that's something I expected from the program, which is 100% what I got. When I was doing some other courses, that wasn't the case, and I felt, a bit disappointed by that. And also, the thing that I appreciated then in your program is I didn't have to go and, one, research more information because it's so comprehensive. I didn't have to go and double check. I didn't have to spend a lot of my time kind of looking at other different opinions on this specific thing, for example, technique, etc. I was like, okay, I can really trust this. And the interesting thing was that when I was learning some things in some of the other courses, then I was like, okay, let me check what Sophie's saying about this, and kind of really leaning on that for, like, okay, this is what I really trust because of your clinical experience. So that's something, that's one piece in terms of the experience of the program that was really, that gave me a lot of confidence in that, because when you go through birth, and it's just so huge. For me, it was just something so significant, and I'm sure for everyone having their first child and another potentially. um it's so important that you prepared and you have information and people around you that you really trust, and that's definitely been the case for me. The other piece I wanted to mention was the way you've structured the program is, I just thought, really fantastic. It's such, like, you know, the way it's structured, the how the information is kind of in really actionable steps. They're not long videos that you have to take a lot of notes and think about, okay, what am I doing with this? Really practical, really well structured, really easy to follow, especially postpartum. I don't think I appreciated how little time energy and focus I'll have postpartum. So that's the part where I especially appreciated that. But that's definitely kind of throughout. So that's the second piece. And I think the third piece that comes to mind is that ongoing support. Like you were there. Like if I'm struggling with something, you are there and I can ask and I get your response like really, really quickly, usually within 24 hours, right? And a really, really thorough response. There was one moment where I'm sure you'll remember that postpartum, I was really worried about a prolapse and having a prolapse. And so I sent you a message, oh, this is my question in the community group. And before I got your response, I was obviously Googling and looking at the information and got me really freaked out, to be honest with you. I was really worried. Oh my goodness, what's happened? What's the impact on so many aspects of my health, etc. And then when I got your response, you that really, really helped me and was like, oh, that's not what I found online. You kind of, because of your clinical experience, there was a lot of reassurance, there was a lot of practical steps into, okay, what do I do now? How does this work? These are the things I don't need to worry about. This is the likelihood of how things will progress. So there was something about like, okay, I can just ask Sophie and be reassured. I completely didn't feel like I needed to see someone one to one. And I think you do such a great job in the program to get a sense of, do I need to or do I not? And there's definitely for certain people, as you say in the program, it would be helpful to do that. I didn't fall in that category pre-birth. Thankfully, I didn't either postpartum. Um, so I didn't consult with the kind of physio for pelvic floor throughout the program. I didn't feel like I needed to whatsoever. The information that you give, the strategies that you give were completely kind of enough for what I needed. And I think you're really clear about the limits of that. And I knew if this happens or if I have this issue, that's when I should go and see someone else. But the thing is, even if I did, I could have one consultation or a couple of consultation, which of course is really helpful, but it doesn't give you the full picture and the full program that you provide, right? The preparation, the prevention. This is what you do all the way to birth. This is what you do during birth. This is what you do postpartum. So to get that kind of support one-to-one, I mean, I can't even imagine the number of one-to-one sessions you need for that, right? And also, like, I do this in the comfort of my own home, where I kind of learn the information, practice things with my partner, because some of the things that you teach are some of the techniques and how my partner can support me during birth. So the fact that the program is online had, that's exactly what I wanted and what I needed. And if I needed some extra one-to-one sessions, great. But I really didn't. And the fact that I didn't have access to you for one-to-one because I'm a different continent, yeah, that was no problem whatsoever. So yeah, my program, for all of these reasons and many more, my experience has been absolutely fantastic, and I feel really grateful for your support. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's so lovely to hear because I think, yeah, postpartum, we all need that grounding presence at some moments, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
we're worried about something. And I think, yeah, like you mentioned, having someone in your corner to kind of soothe these worries and being like, no, this is where we're at right now. These are the steps moving forward can be so, so comforting.
Mm.
Um, can you share some of the results you got from the program, whether it is through your pregnancy, your birth, and the techniques that maybe you have used from the program, your birth outcomes, your postpartum outcomes, anything of that
Mhm.
regard?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the results was peace of mind during pregnancy. Practicing the techniques and feeling well prepared. I think that is really, really important. So then coming into my birth, and like I mentioned, I was working with a private midwife who was there in the hospital with me for the birth as well. and working with her and you together and kind of sharing some of the things that I was learning with you with her was also really, really helpful. So there was that kind of collaboration, which felt really, again, another bit of peace of mind. I was definitely using the techniques during birth. A lot of the preparation I've done with the Epino and kind of different techniques that you teach, I definitely felt prepared psychologically, but very much physically. And that's the outcome post kind of during the birth and postpartum. Like I had very, very little tearing. I've actually had a debrief with my midwife a couple of days ago. So it was really timely that we kind of booked this call now. So I have a very kind of clear, close to mind, really all the things that happened during birth. And one of the things that my midwife was saying, it was great that your tearing was just so minimal. And with the birth that I had, there was some challenges with the kind of final pushing stage, and there's nothing to do with the program or my preparation. It's just the way birth was and etc. But I had very, very little tearing and very easy recovery after that. And I 100% am sure that's because of the preparation that we've done together and I've done because of your program. So that's amazing. That's such a big part of like everyday life postpartum, right? That's like being able to move and walk and look after my baby. And I've just come home from a long walk. My baby is almost 8 kilograms, and I carry him in the sling, and we go for long walks together. And that's another kind of goal we talked about. What's important for me, and a part of that was being able to get back into kind of walks that I go out with my baby now, but before with my dog, kind of most days, being able to go for long walks is really important. And that's been something that I've definitely been able to do progressively with the support of the postpartum part of the program. So yeah, that's kind of another goal that is really, really important for me physically and for my mental health too. So yeah, loads of kind of really real examples of kind of tangible results from
Mhm.
being in the program.
My last question for you, Helena, is would you recommend the program to a friend and why?
I would 100% recommend the program to a friend or anyone who is pregnant and thinking about, having some support in place. Why it's so important to feel supported and prepared and to have the right information. Like, yes, there's tons of information online and you can spend I mean, months and months, right? Reading everything there. The information can be really confusing. You don't know what sources that comes from. Is that someone who knows what they're talking about? Is that someone with clinical practice who's seen many people who are pregnant, who've had injuries during birth or issues postpartum? Like, I want to speak to someone who knows what they're talking about. So I think that's one of the reasons why I would highly recommend to anyone who is pregnant to work with you, because you do have that experience. The other bit is I feel really comfortable with you, Sophie. I think pregnancy it's a vulnerable time, isn't it? It's yeah, if I still get emotional thinking about that. I want to feel safe and I want to feel supported and I want to do that, have that space with someone who gets it and who responds in a kind, empathic, and understanding way. I'm mindful that you often talk about your pregnancy, your experience with birth. You're not shy to talk about things that are tricky to talk about, right? When we talk pregnancy, postpartum, all the things that are involved. So that kind of really personal, kind, empathic approach has been really huge. That's another reason why I would really, really recommend your program. The lifetime access, I mean, like it can't get better than that, right? If I am 7.5 months postpartum and like I'm so grateful that I'm doing really well and I don't come to you with many questions because I don't need to. But what if I did? Or what if I have a second child and I really want to chat to you again about things, right? So to have access to that, I mean, that's so incredibly valuable. Plus the community. It's lovely to have a community with other moms who are going through pregnancy, postpartum, or just connecting about like what life is like in terms of, postpartum and all the ups and downs that it brings with it. So to have a community there ready to support you and a community who's gone through your program again has been really, really wonderful. So yeah, for all of those reasons and many more, I would 100% recommend your program to anyone who is pregnant. And yeah, I think it's just the results speak for themselves.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience in the program, Helena. It's been a pleasure working with you. And yeah, I wish you good luck on everything ahead of you on this journey.
Thank you so much, Sophie. It's such a pleasure to speak to you, and thank you so much for all your incredible support. I'm really grateful for it.